Look, I mean, it's a top flight analytics platform. And, it's, if you're looking at the analytics platform that owns sports, it's
Yeah.
Tableau. They own the industry. I mean, it's probably 80% market share. It's huge. The number's probably not accurate, but it's extremely high because you're able to actually do quite a bit of work. And Tableau, of course, is brilliant for its visualization. That's what it's known for. That said,
But
you
in
know,
visualizing data, is it able to like aggregate certain types of data better than like?
well, I mean, it's let's say this. I don't know if it's better than X, Y, or Z, but it's does its job well. Is it worth the amount of money they spent? How I look at acquisitions. If somebody offered it and somebody's willing to take it, then it's worth it to the two of them. So that's all that ultimately matters at this point. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm still not sure about the acquisition.
Yeah.
So I have to probably leave it there, and Salesforce is willing to give me an explanation. So we're going to talk, and then I'll know better. Every other thing they've acquired, I know. But,
So MapAnything, they also did. That's also visualization.
yeah,
too?
different kind though. I mean that to me, honestly, that one I didn't think was all that great. To me, Esri, they should have integrated with Esri.
One, I'm surprised that like MapAnything, you even need like why can't you just generate a report of where all your customers are? But basically, what they do is this shows you on the map where everything is.
Well, and that's actually important for all kinds of reasons, but I mean, but there's also there's also a long game involved with GIS software, which is, for example, my brother is very big in that universe, and he's more on the first response emergency management side. So if you can map things going on in disaster areas or and you can tie that to social data. So you can pick up, say, a tweet stream, and in the meantime, who the key players are in that area. It's enormously valuable when you have a tornado that just hit or you have a flood that's hitting where you say, okay, well, there's 20 guys who live in that community over there. We need to hook into them. Let's go talk to them, citizens, right? And then we have emergency response team because it's tied to, say, route data. Best route will be that to that area. They can hook up with these 5 guys over there and those 10 guys over there. Combination with the tweet stream saying there's 2 or 3 citizens who are now actively involved over at that area doing this and this. So when you start picking up the real-time activity from the social side and combine that with the visual maps, I mean, you can't describe a route.
Yeah.
You have to see a route. And that's the longer game, right, for this stuff. The other thing is just, look, ultimately, human beings are visual, right? They're highly visual. In fact, think about what's the most important form of media now. It's video, right?
Yeah.
It's not documents. It's not audio. It's video because we conceptualize more clearly when we see, right? And see and hear, of course, combined. So the more that's why you think infographics are so popular.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are just stupid. I mean, but people pay attention to them because they're easy to read and they look cool.
Yeah.
Right? And that matters. That ability to visualize matters. So when you look, analytics are very difficult to read. When you read a report that's based on some significant enterprise scale analytics, it's a bunch of numbers, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit of other things. But it's not all that hard. It's not easy to gain anything out of it because you're trying to, in your head, you're trying to like figure out numbers. But when you see it, or you have a heat map, or you have a scale that shows relative this number to this number to this number, rather than trying to figure out the math in your head, it makes a gigantic difference in your ability to think through an idea, right? So having the visuals matters a lot. Having the maps matters enormously. I just don't think MapAnything was that great a product. I never did. I don't know a ton of that industry, but my brother has hooked me into a lot of it, so I've paid some attention to it. And I know he's had a pretty good relationship with Esri, and Esri's the one I have always known my whole existence, long before I was even CRM. I knew Esri because they are the leaders in the industry. Their maps are second to none. An integration with Esri would have done Salesforce just as much as an acquisition of MapAnything.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but also I think MapAnything, there's big Salesforce partners. Whereas Esri as big as
Well, Esri is a Salesforce partner, but not like that. Esri is a much bigger company.
MapAnything, they bought like all at one of the Dreamforces. There was like on every the bicycle thing, they bought like MapAnything on the back of it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean they're a smart company. It's just Esri's just a better product. That's all. But Esri's a $2 billion company.
Yeah, but the marketing, like it matters. I guess you see it there. Maybe the brands help, but I'm surprised. But Mark Benioff could work with anything, make it look great. So it looks like that Salesforce acquired two visual. Like I'm looking at MapAnything and Tableau is somewhat similar.
Yeah, Tableau is much more enterprise grade than MapAnything. Tableau handles scale like it's big.
So if Salesforce could keep we talking about like the perfect social CRM. If Salesforce could keep acquiring if it could keep acquiring companies to become like the perfect end-to-end, like is that one? Do you think that's even possible?
No.
Yeah,
no.
But it makes more sense for them to kind of have people who plug like they need a Vidyard. Vidyard. Do you think that could you see Salesforce ever acquiring something or creating something like Vidyard where it's able to collect the video data? You know Vidyard, right?
Yeah.
I know he was on with Brent Leary.
Think of it this way. First of all, we have to clarify something. There is no social CRM anymore. It's all CRM is social CRM at this point.
Yeah. What I mean is like they're able to get so Hootsuite is basically plugging in what if let's say Salesforce acquired Hootsuite so that's something that connects
this. No point in that one.
Yeah.
No point in that one.
Yeah. Hypothetically, what I'm saying, like Salesforce being the ultimate place you log into there, that's how you get all the data, just one place. Like Hootsuite is, let's say hypothetically, Hootsuite was connected to Salesforce. Where I think it
actually is.
Yeah, it is.
No, there's an integration for it.
But do you think Salesforce will ever there's no point for them just to buy everything?
No, it's wasted their money if they do. I mean,
like what direction are they going to?
Well, I mean, look, you got to realize something about Salesforce in particular. First of all, you got to go all the way back to 2002, 2003 when they announced their intent, even though very few people saw it, which was that they want at the time the way they put it was we want to be the network upon which all business applications are run. That's the way they put it, meaning a platform.
Yeah.
Right. So, and from that day on, they have been focused on being a platform, not being a CRM system, being a platform. Right. And now that said, their history is CRM, right? Especially Salesforce automation. So over the years, they still built out those capabilities. But keep in mind, until Bob Stutz got there, they didn't have a very effective marketing cloud. Right now, they have one of the best marketing clouds thanks to him. Right. Until the Service Cloud wasn't selling all that well. Now Bill Patterson has turned it around, both of whom are, among others, Microsoft veterans, right? The two of them. The Sales Cloud was their cash cow. That said, they've been acquiring things like Heroku and the whole gamut of companies that were designed to improve their platform. But for years, of course, they wouldn't acknowledge, because the whole thing was no software, right? And everything was cloud-based.
Yeah.
They didn't acknowledge that there's still a lot of on-premise technology out there, and there's a back office that they have to deal with if they really want to be as dominant, stay as dominant as they already are.
What are you referring to with that?
Well, for example, back office meaning financial and HR software and technologies that are in the back, and on-premise meaning tons of thousands, millions of implementations are still on-premise. They, meaning they're not in the cloud. And
why?
Just because they're not.
The technology hasn't gotten there yet?
The technology is there. Again, it's just how the companies chose to operate. Some of it's due to security.
Meaning the technology, like the people haven't evolved there.
Right. They're just fairly backward companies, or it's just too costly for them to evolve. So, for example, there are companies still running Siebel call center 20 years later, partly because Siebel was such an effective call center technology.
And some of these are big companies, too.
Yeah, they're huge companies. And so... But what Salesforce did by the acquisition of Mulesoft was acknowledge all of that, right? Because what Mulesoft does is integrate all that with the cloud and can integrate all on-premise with the cloud. It can also integrate the back office to the front office. Mulesoft is essentially what we used to call middleware, but it's basically an integration capability that sits in the middle of the platform that will allow you to pretty much integrate anything you want with anything else you want. And Mulesoft's leadership, like Chief Product Officer, I think his name is Mark Rao, are really smart. And so I think Mulesoft was the most significant acquisition they've made in 10 years, partly because they're acknowledging what they refuse to acknowledge, which is they have to be, if they really want to continue to be as dominant as they are, they have to acknowledge the back office and they have to acknowledge the existing stuff that's out there. Over time, they may be able to convert some of them to the cloud, a lot of them. But while they are trying to do that, they still have to acknowledge the fact that a lot of companies aren't that yet.
Yeah,